World of Warfare presents The Terror of Rabaul. Known as the Fighting Corsairs, on January 14th of 1944, the 215th U.S. Marine Corps Aviation Fighting Squadron was assigned escort duties for a flight of bombers targeting Japanese ships, only to be bounced by a superior number of enemy fighters as they approached the Japanese stronghold at Simpson Harbor at Rabaul, Papua New Guinea. Within minutes, 50 caliber machine gun fire lit up an already bright South Pacific sky in a ballet of life and death aerial combat. Smoke trailed from damaged aircraft as Marine pilots filled the airways with radio chatter as leads barked urgent commands to their wingmen. Amidst the chaos, one pilot, First Lieutenant Robert Hanson, found himself cut off from his squadron mates. Yet despite overwhelmingly bad odds, Hanson single-handedly engaged the enemy with resolute determination, downing 5 enemy aircraft despite severe shortages of both fuel and ammunition, an incredible feat that earned him the nickname the Terror of Rabaul. In the following 2 weeks, Hanson would down 15 more enemy aircraft, making him one of the greatest fighter aces to ever fly in the Pacific theater. Born on February the 4th of 1920 in Lucknow, India, where his parents worked as Methodist missionaries, on the day of Japan's unprovoked attack on American naval assets and personnel at Pearl Harbor, Hanson was in his final year at Hamline University in St. Paul, Minnesota, when he understood his call to duty, leaving school to join the Marine Corps Aviation Cadet Program. In May of 1942, Hanson enlisted for naval flight training, earning his wings and a commission as a second lieutenant in February of 1943. Initially assigned to Marine Corps Air Station San Diego, now MCAS Miramar, he was then transferred to the 1st Marine Aircraft Wing for deployment to the Pacific Theater, where in June of 1943, 23-year-old Hanson arrived in the Solomon Islands to serve in the 214th Marine Fighting Squadron. Famously known as the Swashbucklers and later the Black Sheep Squadron, the 214th was commanded by Major Gregory Pappy Boyington, who became equally famous for his bold tactics and characteristic leadership style, whose ability to inspire and nurture his less experienced pilots made him instrumental to the squadron's success as one of the most victorious and decorated in the Pacific theater. By the summer of 1943, the Solomon Islands had become a pivotal and active theater in the Pacific War, after victories such as Guadalcanal saw Allied forces gaining momentum in their steady push into Japanese-held territories, despite Japan's ongoing ability to mount strong defenses on each of their threatened outposts. Fortunately for the Black Sheep Squadron and the U.S. Marine Corps Aviation Branch as a whole, a new wonderkin had just joined the ranks of the now legendary outfit. At the time of Hanson's transfer to the Solomons, Marine Corps pilots were still relatively green when it came to flying their primary fighter plane, the Voight F-4U Corsair, which had first seen combat in February of 1943. Designed by Rex Beisel, the Corsair featured a distinctive inverted gull-wing design, where its 2,000 horsepower Pratt & Whitney engine boasted a maximum speed of 431 miles an hour. The Corsair also packed 6 Browning A6M2 50 caliber machine guns, mounted in groups of 3 along the leading edge of both wings. At the height of the Solomons' hot summer of 1943, Marine pilots quickly began to master the Corsair's unique characteristics, including its beast of an engine and quirky handling behaviors. On August the 4th of 1943, Hanson encountered Japan's newest fighter plane, the Kawasaki Ki-61 Hen Type III, known to Allied flyers as a Tony. Yet despite the plane's sleek design and heavy firepower, the Ki-61 proved to be no match for a Corsair flown by an ace like Hanson. When the fearless American pilot engaged the enemy head-on, firing his guns until the Kawasaki erupted in flames, spiraling down to earth for the 23-year-old's first kill in what was about to become the fastest-rising combat career in Marine Corps aviation history. Hanson's next action came on August 26, mere weeks since his first kill, when he faced off against a Mitsubishi A6M0. And while the model had initially wreaked havoc at Pearl Harbor a year and a half earlier, its shortcomings had since become well known to American fighter pilots. By the time of Hanson's second kill, Marine combat pilots had learned that maintaining altitude was critical in a dogfight, for whomever controlled the altitude of a fight dictated the terms of the battle, due to the fact that the Corsair could outperform the Zero in every aspect except slow speed maneuverability and rate of climb. Seizing the moment, Hanson used his tactical advantage to his benefit, diving from above the Zero to unleash a devastating barrage of .50 caliber cannon fire, looking on as the Zero disintegrated before his eyes. In his first few months in theater, Hanson's tactics as a fighter pilot and his total disregard for danger had now earned him squadron recognition for his daring aggressiveness, earning him a transfer to the 215th Marine Fighting Squadron at Vella Lavella Island in October of 1943. Under the command of Major Robert G. Owens, Jr., the Fighting Corsairs were one of the most distinguished fighter squadrons in the U.S. Marine Corps, which had quickly built a reputation for combat dominance since its formation on March 1st of 1942. Playing a critical role in the defense of ground troops during the Solomon Islands and New Britain campaigns, Hanson flew his first mission with the Fighting Corsairs on November 1st, flying with the Crucial Combat Air Patrol, or CAP, over Empress Augusta Bay on Bougainville Island, Papua New Guinea, providing air support for Allied landing operations aimed at establishing a beachhead on the island, a key objective in the Solomon Islands campaign. Hanson and his squadron met fierce resistance from Japanese fighters bent on thwarting the Allied landings. During the chaos of an active dogfight, Hanson targeted no less than 6 enemy torpedo bombers, where he applied his usual aggressive tactics that forced all 6 planes to jettison their bombs prematurely, thereby protecting Allied landing forces below. By the end of the day, Hanson had shot down 2 Zeros and a Nakajima B-97 Kate torpedo bomber, becoming the Allies' latest ace in the Pacific theater, before ditching his badly damaged Corsair in the ocean. Hanson would then spend the next 6 hours paddling in a rubber life raft until he was rescued by the destroyer USS Sigourney. By early January of 1944, the Fighting Corsairs were relocated from Vella Lavella to Torokina on Bougainville Island, with the goal of bringing them closer to Japan's stronghold on Rabaul, allowing the 215th to launch more frequent and aggressive sorties against Japanese forces, leading to Hanson's deadly 5-kill engagement as mentioned in the beginning. Hanson's hot streak continued 6 days later when he downed another Zero, followed by 2 more Ki-61s on January 22nd. 2 days later, while conducting a high cover flight over Simpson Harbor, Hanson found himself isolated from his flightmates yet again, once again engaging a superior number of Japanese interceptors, downing 4 confirmed Zeros and a probable 5th. His luck continued on January 26th, when he downed 3 more Zeros and a probable on an A6M2, followed by 2 more Zeros and 2 Nakajima Ki-44s. Between January 14th to the 25th, First Lieutenant Robert M. Hanson had achieved 20 aerial victories in just 6 missions, with a total kill record of 25. Hanson's invincible fighting spirit came to an end on February 3rd of 1944, just 1 day shy of his 24th birthday, when he flew escort for 18 Drummond TBF Avenger torpedo bombers for an attack on an airfield near Karabat on New Britain Island. While returning to his airbase, Hanson descended to attack a lighthouse at Cape St. George on New Ireland, which was known to harass passing fighter groups with flak. As reported by his squadron leader, Captain Harold L. Spears, Hanson flew dangerously low to the water until one of his wings caught on a wave. Bouncing twice atop the ocean surface, Hanson pulled up momentarily until his wing caught fire, before his corsair cartwheeled into the ocean and disintegrated within seconds. Whether he was knocked unconscious or failed to free himself from his cockpit, the world will never know, but the Terror of Rabaul had perished when his corsair slipped beneath the ocean surface. The tragic end to his storied career happened just one victory shy of Captain Eddie Rickenbacker's World War I record of 26 kills, which had by then been equaled by two other Marine pilots, Major Joe Foss and Major Gregory "Pappy" Boyington, both World War II aviators. According to Hanson's last commanding officer, Bob Owens, Hanson was the greatest and most daring fighter pilot imaginable. He did things no other pilot would dare attempt and always got away with them. Overall, the 215th produced a total of 10 aces during its campaign against Rabaul, shooting down 137 enemy aircraft in just 18 weeks. However, Hanson's record of shooting down 25 enemy aircraft in 3 months and 20 in just 17 days over 6 missions was never equaled by any other Allied pilot during the Second World War. For his sacrifice to his country, Hanson was posthumously promoted to the rank of captain on the day of his death, followed by the Medal of Honor on August 19, 1944. While back in the States, Hamline University posthumously awarded him the degree he was working on. The following year, the U.S. Navy named a 3,360 long-ton Gearing-class destroyer in his honor, the USS Hanson, which went on to serve during the Korean and Vietnam Wars, making the short yet valorous life of Captain Robert M. Hanson a lasting legacy among World War II aviators.